government bonds and securities. Now the markets open at 8:15 a.m., closing at 3:15 p.m. Yes, that is Monday to Friday, East African time, except on the weekends and the public holidays when you can't access these markets. But of course, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make quite some huge profits for you there. Zambo simply says, my money, my future. And Old Texas East Africa says, do something new. Now heading straight into our discussions this morning. Of course, kicking start here, we have the morning call. It's the morning call time. And of course, there is something that you need to understand as a Ugandan there. Very interesting if you have the heart of entrepreneurship. Now, according to a report here, it says that Uganda has the best environment that is in trend in the East African community. That's according to a report. I think this is quite something very unbelievable, but quite very true. Now, the Africa Trade Index by South Africa's Standard Bank, which also trades as Stanbic, that is in some countries, indicates that Uganda has the best trading enabling environment that is among the East African member states. I think that is quite very interesting, regardless of what we really perceive about the trading climate in this country. But the different reports coming in from other sources reveal that actually our country has the best trading climate, Now, this index, which was compiled between September 2022, that is to provide a comparative view of enablers and challenges to trade across 10 African markets, indicates that Uganda performed better than Kenya and Tanzania. That is improving its position from 6th to 4th due to improved import and export growth prospects, and of course ease of access to credit and government support that is on trading activities. Now, Tanzania and Kenya are ranked at 5th. Of course, at the same position as the previous study, and 7th respectively. Now, Kenya slipped from the 4th position attained in the previous ranking. That is due to significant decline in credit terms and import growth prospects. Now, the index ranks South Africa at position number 1, followed by Ghana, and Namibia respectively. Now, the study still further surveyed that 2,554 businesses in South Africa, that is Ghana, Uganda, Namibia, Tanzania, Mozambique, Kenya, Nigeria, Zambia, and Angola, also inclusive of those countries that, quite friendly trading environment, but definitely citing out the topmost countries with the best trading climate. Now, businesses also noted that government should simplify business policies and continuously work on infrastructure development to make sure that this is actually made much more efficient. And of course, for the past years, infrastructure development has deteriorated into the African nations. Now, Uganda, along with Angola, Ghana, that is Nigeria, and Mozambique, the report noted, suffer, that is from deteriorating roads, that is ports, airports, telecommunications, water supply at the same time, and outages, customs, and trade negotiations. That is according to the report. Yeah, despite the fact that Uganda, we are outstanding, our report reveals that actually we have the most cases regarding infrastructure, and that is quite a reality. We've all experienced that. And the aspect of telecommunications not being in the stable condition, deteriorating ports, and of course Uganda is a landlocked country, and water supply at the same time. That is our morning call for this morning. Yes, Uganda having the best environment when it comes to trade in the East African community, but of course Africa and South Africa ranking number 1 from on the entire continent. Now let's, away from this now at 16 minutes past 7, let's cross over to take a look at what's happening in the press. Well, now kickstarting off with a new vision here as we take a look at police, of course, getting new clues on East Mass killers. This is on the top page of the new vision. And of course, we still have a look of government unveiling 448 billion Ugandan shillings for 96 irrigation projects. Quite very good news for the people that are really dealing into the farming there. And of course, long queues as Mbala residents get parish development model money. Of course, it is still here on the top page where you can actually be in position to view what's really going on. Now let's unveil it further and we take a look at what's happening inside. Now here we see Ankole Diocese to earn, that is 9.2 billion Ugandan shillings yearly from coffee. Of course, now these are anticipations, which is going to be, of course, earned from Ankole. Now, this is quite very, very interesting. Now, Ankole Diocese is directing, that is its efforts towards coffee growing, and of course, with the target of earning about 4.6 billion, that is per season, and about 9.2 billion, that is annually. So that is Ankole for you there. You can, of course, get some more of the details regarding this report and get to see how are they making it to make sure that they can earn that amount of money on an annual basis, and something which we believe is, of course, very remarkable. Now here, President Museveni vows to get his mass killers. Well, what strategies is he planning? Is he planning to actually make sure that he puts in place to get these killers, of course, giving the justice there? You can find that more in the New Vision regarding the murder of the blogger right there. Now further, of course, what we saw onto the top heading, government unveiling 448 billion for irrigation schemes. And of course, the government has unveiled 448 irrigation schemes, that is to mitigate effects of climate change and increase productivity. That is in the agricultural sector. Yes, this is very good news, and you will be checking out that more of the irrigation schemes and what does it take for you to really participate, to be a part of this. You know, of course, there are procedures when such projects come in. You don't just get it straight away. You don't just wake up and say that, you know, I'm heading for this project, I'm heading for this amount of money. Definitely, there must be some criteria. But of course, you'll get more of the details as you find out. But that is something for you to really check out. Of course, now National Water and Sewage Corporation recommissions, that is prepaid water meters for city slums. Now, the past 7 months have been a nightmare, that is for quite some residents there. Of course, in some of the areas mentioned here, Luzira, Nakawa, in Kampala division. But of course, there is now going to be a provision for prepaid meters. I think that is something to smile at. Okay. Now, still here, legislators disagree on drivers' badges. You will be checking out where the disagreement really stood. What was the point of disagreeing from this very, very perspective? Now, of course, Catholic lawyers here launch a Vasti project. That is for the Karamoja sub-region. You'll be checking that out and see what it entails there. Now, in the comment section, of course, here they say that emphasize popular vigilance among local communities. Of course, this following the current, insecurities that tend to happen. That is within the country. So they've been urged to be much more vigilant as you observe people there. Now, of course, in the oil and gas infrastructure, we see sector players ask government to prioritize, that is tourism infrastructure. Yes, or sector players. I think this is something key because in the past days, we saw the potential, the very potential tourist attraction centers having quite some few difficulties when it comes to execution, and these really have a long-term implication to the number of tourists that are likely to come to this country. So that's why the government, the stakeholders are urging government to improve the tourism infrastructure. Now, of course, here the further into this section, they tell you how infrastructure can actually boost tourism. Of course, you'll be finding that out and see how this can be done. Now, of course, 21 minutes past 7, we're still driving your business here on a daily Kickstarter. That is a smart men's business. Now, on the Daily Monitor, here on the top page, of course, we take a look at Angola clan, of course, demands pay from Sabiti family. Of course, that is, the tragic incidents that happened That is last week. And of course, the clan is demanding pay from the soldier that shot the minister there. Of course, now here, job fight at Works Ministry as cuts loom. Of course, staff has raised the alarm after a senior official whose role is being phased out. And of course, he ended up applying for a junior job. So that is tension at the Ministry of Works. Of course, cuts, job cuts, layoffs, in other words. Of course, we've been seeing them across the globe. And now we are starting, I think, to have a test of what they're like. Now, SADC to deploy force in Democratic Republic of Congo. Of course, that is a union for countries in the southern region. Of course, still Museveni emphasizing how they will get Uchuli's killers. Of course, it's been even in the new vision. But anyway, we shall be seeing how this really finds out. Now, flu and cough, non-COVID, of course, says Ministry of Health. Of course, there has been some sort of outbreak of some colds happening in there, and masses are scared about this. Well, is COVID-19 back? But well, the Ministry of Health says it's not COVID. It's just a normal flu, so you gotta relax there. And now here, police, army arrest 7 suspected terrorists. Well, what was the intention and how was this possible and what were they up to? Definitely, those are the questions that you'll be finding out. From that, you'll be getting them more when you get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor. Now, still here, the Health Ministry to retable narcotics law in Parliament. Yes, you'll be checking out that and see what really it tasks. And now in the national news section here, KCB tasked to avail documents to Tirupati. That is in about 26 billion Ugandan shillings loan roll. Well, you'll be checking out more of the details regarding this case, and of course it will be able to add up. Now, ULC issues over 10,000 land titles, that is to Bibanja holders. Now, Miss Allen Kabanja, a resident of this village, okay, the different residents here, so, putting smiles actually on their faces, according to what I'm observing here. But anyway, we shall be taking a look at that. 10,000 land titles to be Banja owners. So title, you'll be in position to actually what they call a chapa. So that would be quite very credible for you. Now 24 minutes past 7. Now heading straight to what's happening in the traffic there. Yes, that is the Wandegia traffic light. We're observing the traffic atmosphere. What is happening there, and of course the situation seems to be a little bit smooth according to what we're seeing, but of course we cannot tell the overall aspect unless we view the entirety of the area, or maybe just apologies for the few technicalities there, but that is the situation as we are observing it at the Wandegia. Of course, the rains have just stopped. Now majority of the vehicles hitting the road to head to the different destinations, and explaining why we're able to see what we're seeing. Now those are the vehicles that are coming in from Bombo Road, and they are heading towards the area of town to execute the different businesses there. So that is quite very credible aspect there as we are observing this. But of course, we anticipate as the time goes on, during the day, it will be much more cooler than how we are looking at that. I mean the traffic congestion coming down farther. So if you're coming in from areas, you're coming in from Wandegia, you're coming in from Kamocha, you're coming in from Lago, and you're heading towards Kampala, yes, that is the situation like. And it seems a little bit small, probably maybe because it rained earlier in the night, and it's the reason which explains why majority probably of the people have not yet gotten onto the road. Yes, sometimes it can be that way as compared to when it rains, when the day has already officially started. For example, when it rains like at around 6:30, well, majority of the vehicles are already on the road, and that probably poses high chances of congestion as compared to before. People take their time to move out. So that is the atmosphere there. People coming in from Kamocha, Wandega heading to Kampala. Yeah, it seems not so much as congested. I don't see any long queues there, any long lines of vehicles. Well, 27 minutes past 9, and that is it for the traffic updates this morning. Now let's get into a short commercial break, and definitely when we return, we shall be heading to take a look at what's happening that is around the East African bloc, but also winding it up with the international community. Good morning.